Not just yet, man. Like, it's been a few back and forth conversations with Dean Lonigan, who's the promoter. Himself and Matt Rose with No Limit, they have the big Foxtel contracts. So they're the ones that put all the shows together for Fox Sports. But not just yet. So it hasn't officially been picked up by Fox Sports just yet. So, I don't know what's going on. Right now it's been promoted on Sam Labruna Fight Night, which looks like a dog's breakfast in my opinion. And it'll, like, if it's his show, it's likely to land on like Epicenter TV or some bullshit, which is like web stream. But man, it's too much of a big fight for Fox Sports not to get. They're such a great platform. I've been on them 7 times now. That's the reason why I've got so much headway. And there's a legit world title on the undercard with Sugar Neats and a Mexican girl as well. So, man, it's a massive opportunity for Fox Sports to get a good show on their platform. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, because I don't want to fight on Sam Labrina's piece of shit show. And the comments I got in my DMs about that show, some of the people that were on it, I'm better off going freaking fighting down at the old stomping grounds at Caboolture train station.
That's unreal.
Yeah, so they sort that out.
Yeah. And the fight date, that's the 6th of April, is that right? Or is it 20th?
Feel like there's so many factors that come into it. I know Jai Opataya, another one of the Aussies, he's got his world title shot, hopefully, with Midas Breedis. But even before that, Justice Honey was meant to fight Goodall. Then that got pushed out to March sometime. But now Sonny Bill and Barry Hall are going at it. On that date, they were meant to be fighting on Stan now. So they obviously don't want to have 2 big shows competing on the same night, Stan and Fox. So one of them's going to move, which will probably be the Fox Sports, because Stan's already released their stuff. So Midas Breedis, Jai Bataya's got to slide in somewhere after March and before April, and then I've got to go as well. So the date is still up in the air. Like, I know it's April. I've told Dean, like, the fight doesn't get done after April. I said to him it's got to be done before May 3rd, because my wedding is May 4th, so it's not happening after that. Do it beforehand, and if it doesn't get done then, he can wait until I get back from Spain or something on my honeymoon. I'll punch his head in then. But it gets done on a date before then. That's what I said.
Does that add extra head noise or pressure that you've got a time factor as well?
In what regard?
In terms of preparation for the fight, is it one extra thing to worry about, or are you able to?
No, it's just for me. It's no secret I'm a big middleweight. I dial in very well with my my nutritionist. So 3 weeks, you don't want to be cutting weight, coming into a date, depleting your whatnot, and then get right at the end of that and say, oh shit, it's in 2 weeks, and bounce back up and then come back down, or the vice versa. You don't want to be too far out thinking, I'm up here, I'm about to make the climb down to my weight, and then, they spring on me, oh, it's in 2 weeks, I got to push forward 3 weeks harder. It doesn't work like that. I'm a professional, and that's the way this fight should be treated. Dial in, get this date set well out in advance, at least 10, 12 weeks, because that's what a professional fight camp is based around. So give me that, at the least, because I've had the fights where I've been, asked on 4 days' notice to fight. Yes, they've been at heavier weights, and the reverse is always easier. But, that time has been and gone. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm a middleweight, and that's where I'm sanctioned. I'm world ranked there. So give me my 10 weeks, because I'm a professional, and that's how I've got to get ready, So I need that 10 weeks to, especially now the stakes are higher. So, give me that 10 weeks to get ready properly.
Do you feel that that your fight should be taking priority over the Barry Hall Sonny Bill William fight, given that you could just say that's muck around fight as well?
Well, not in this country, I don't think. I'm a professional boxer. Yes, I wouldn't say they really are. Sonny Bill's a freak athlete. He's a great league player, but he ain't no boxer. He's out there with Tyson Fury as well. But no, in this country, they're going to take, the lead, guys like that. Because boxing, man, is on after the golf on the highlights on Channel 10 Sports. Boxing's not cared about in this country. And I understand that. So that's why like guys like Sonny Bill, Paul Gallen, if I'd happily be on that undercard to fight Michael Zerafa, because the people that'll pay for that fight will be well more than the people that'll pay for Hardman versus Zerafa, or however you want to word it. Just like the Christmas bash ended last year, Paul Gallen and that Issac, his name was. The night before, they had all the professional boxers on, all the A-class boxers here in Australia. No one turned up. The friends and family did. Yet the day after, they had all the footy lads on, which none of them would drop a sugar off a pancake. They're all terrible, except for Paul Gallen. He can fight. There's all shit, but that crowd was packed. So, I don't mind taking the back seat to let the Sonny Bill Williams Hall fight go, and then I'll show them how to really box, But that's the thing, man. People don't get around boxing like they get around the footy players here in this country. It's a sad fact, but, it is what it is. That's why when I wipe the floor with Zerafa, I'll be up and out of here like George Kambosos did.
Where do you reckon you'd head? Is it America or the UK? How are you?
Either, man. Like, you look back a year ago, no one cared about George Kambosos. The boxing fans, John Through fans knew who they were, but the normal Joe Blow didn't know, and then now he's won the world title. He's in the headlines and he deserves to be. So, and now people care about him. So no one cares about you until you're the man. So, I'll get Zerafa done, and then I'll go and, win my world title wherever it be, in the UK. I'm never going to move there. I'll just go to training camps there and always be an Australian and, bring those belts back. And then that's when I'll get my respect, or, I'll pay my dues.
Damn. Yeah, that's it's also a great story going overseas and bringing it back with what George Kambosos is doing. And then for me, with what he did, realizing that he'd made it mainstream was like when he'd gone on Joe Rogan. I'm like, damn, that was it. Like, I mean, you love Joe Rogan more than I do, but it's like, shit.
Big moment for Australian sport. It was great.
Made it, so, that's the goal.
Yeah, that's awesome. So working backwards from that, how do you progress your training camp?
Progress my training camp?
Yeah, so from, say, like 10 to 12 weeks out, what are you focusing on and then thinking about more so as you move in?
Training camp, how I go about it. So, it's all my stuff is based off 10 weeks, It can be squeezed into 8 weeks if my weight is sitting right. Like I said before, there's no secret I'm a big middleweight. Right now, I'm, tipping the scales about 86 kilos. So, but I've got plenty. But that's me being able to punch out, 8 sharp, hard rounds with the likes of people like Jack Bowen, who's super sharp. He's fighting in 8 weeks. So, that's not a lazy 85 kilos. But preparation is 10 weeks. The start of preparation is, heavy weights. I do my strength and conditioning, a lot of weight. Oh, not a lot, 2 a week. And the rounds are just around 6 to 8. You don't want to be doing 10 weeks of 10 rounds twice a week. So, it's a little bit shorter in the rounds, heavy weights, longer sort of runs. I don't do road runs. The days of road work for me, and I haven't done in 3 years. There's one day a week I'll run more than 5K straight, and that's on a Wednesday, which is my recovery day. But like in my
that's like a contradiction.
Yeah. So like my sprint sessions outside, like further away from the fight, is like 2-minute blocks hard. A little bit longer, that lactic threshold. And as we come closer to the fight, it gets shorter and sweeter, sharper. Even the pad rounds get shorter and sweeter as well. So the further out, heavier, longer, as it comes closer, sharpen everything up.
Get snappier. And what about that's a 14 kilo cut, or from where you are now? That's a massive cut.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I'm a big middleweight, and I like my tucker, but so well, like I've always, like when I used to fight in professional MMA, I used to weigh in at 70 the lowest I got was 70.3 because that's the title cutoff. I fought three times in professional MMA as fighting for a title. So 70.3, no allowance on the scales. And I made that. And I used to sit around back then a little bit lighter because I was younger, about 81 kilos. So still around that, 11 kilo cut, 12 kilos. So I do it well, and I've been doing it for years. My first MMA fight in 2015, professional, 2016, that was at 70 kilos. So I know how to cut weight, and I do it well. And MMA, that's why I think I've got an advantage. MMA has a big culture of cutting weight. You speak to every MMA fighter there. You walk into a gym, first thing they ask you, how heavy are you? You say 80 kilos, all right, you'll be a lightweight fighting in at 70 kilos when we get you ready. It's just the way it is. maybe because in the amateur MMA, they still do a 24-hour weigh-in beforehand, whereas in boxing, they do the weigh-in on the day, then fight, So you don't want to be cutting 10 weights, 10 kilos on the day, then having to fight. So maybe that's why. But if you can do it well, it's a big advantage, and Michael Zerafa will feel that. All my guys have felt that. E-Man felt every bit of that. Adam Stell would have felt that as well. So all my guys feel the extra 10 kilos I put back on after the weigh-in, sometimes more.
Yeah, well, I was watching that Stowe fight back in December, and because we spoke to Lucas just before that fight, Lucas Brown, and had him on the show. And yeah, watching that fight, because you were so much bigger than Stowe, and they'd feel every bit of it as well. But
yeah,
it just depends how that cut is.
Comments like I block with my head. Sometimes I do, but that's guys I know that can't punch like me. Adams, he was walking around at 74 kilos before he made the cut to 72. He's not a big guy. So, whereas you watch my fight with Robert Berridge, who normally is a light heavyweight, he's 79 kilo. He come in at 76, so he would have had to cut weight, and he could punch like a mule kick. So, I didn't get hit by that guy, So it all goes into, all these things come into, the, what's going on. So if I know someone's not going to be able to punch hard, I'm not going to be minding too much about moving my head, whereas Robert Berridge can punch, I'm not going to get hit by that guy. So that's the advantage of cutting weight as well.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
Well, we can touch back on, you started out in MMA. You seem to be very successful in that. What made you change from MMA to boxing? Why did you jump when you were doing so well in MMA?
Yeah, it was just a thing that happened. Boxing wasn't even in my vision of doing sport or anything when I was growing up. I fell in love with the UFC in like 2014. I come across Chuck Liddell on YouTube, and I was just like, man, that's something I want to do. And always playing footy. Man, my dad was a professional boxer, but I never got on the pair of gloves. When I was a kid or anything, I was playing footy, and then I loved the UFC, and I always thought if I wanted to be a fighter, I want to be able to do it all. MMA, they beat any guy in the world. An MMA fighter beat the best kickboxer if it's a fight to the death. The best boxer who's winning in a fight to the death, the best boxer or the best MMA fighter in the world, the best MMA fighter will. So that's what I sort of liked. And it was like that modern day gladiator thing, like who's the man? So I went into MMA, loved it. And that was always my dream, was to be one of the youngest Australian UFC champions. And, I pushed hard for that. 9-0 with 3 Australian titles, and then I think it was 3 weeks out from my title defence on XFC. I was meant to be fighting a guy named BJ Bland, who trains at City Kickboxing. He's one of the training partners. Israel, Brad Riddell, Kiwi guy, and I was very confident I was going to win that fight. We had a guy in the gym. He flew in. He was like a manager of Alex Volkanovski at the time. His name's Reece Delchin. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he said, mate, win this fight and we'll get you a contract. And at the time, I had people messaging.
And he's talking about UFC contracts?
Yeah, man, yeah. I had, Adrian Pang was my MMA coach, and he had guys like Damian Brown in the gym, who was in the UFC. Ben 10, I don't know if you remember him, the little Asian guy, he was in the UFC. He had a pool of people. So Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard knew Adrian Pang had guys from Australia, that were ready for the UFC, and he has emails. Is Isaac ready to go? And long story short, I blew my knee out playing a game of touch football 3 weeks before a title defence, and that was in 2018. That's when I was going to be in the UFC. I was signed and ready to go. Blew my knee out, put me 10 months on the sideline, having to recover this knee, and still even the plan coming back, going into 2019, I still wanted to be in the UFC. All I wanted was a blow the cobwebs out sort of a fight, which was going to be boxing, because at the time I had the midst of my MMA career, I had my 2 professional boxing fights, and I knocked those guys out. I didn't care if I won or lost. It was literally just to do it for a bit of money. The first one I got paid $2,000. Second one I got $2,000 as well. It was like cool for the weekend. And even on the coming back, I wanted to blow the cobwebs out. I fought on John Hopewadi versus Gallon undercard against a guy named Paul Lepetti, who was a youth Tongan champion. And I was again at light heavyweight, and I didn't care. I went and done it, and then a guy named Dean Lonigan was there trying to sign Tim Tszyu, and because he fought that night as well, and he come and approached me afterwards, and was like, mate, have you ever thought about doing boxing? And still, even then, I didn't really care about it.
How come?
And yeah,
You were just so set on UFC? Were
Man,
you
I was
not
so
entertaining it with a couple of wins under your belt?
what, boxing?
Yeah.
Nah, not at all. Like that weekend, I fought Paul Gallen, Hopewadi. The same, or the weekend after, I could have been, or even the same weekend. It was the weekend. Tyson Pedro fought Shogun, Tai Tuivasa, and we all lost. Jake, mate, all the Aussies sort of lost in Perth, I think it was, or Adelaide. They asked me that weekend to jump into a short notice fight at 70 kilos. Man, I wouldn't have made the weight, and if I did, I would have got belted because I would have been so depleted. And I would have been in and out of the UFC. I didn't like that idea. So, man, I had an offer to go straight away, sign on a short notice, but I said no.
Shit.
And look, I'm very thankful that I had the people around me that I had, and said, you don't just want to get in the UFC to get into the UFC. You want to get in and do well. So I didn't want to cut all this weight, be depleted, lose this fight, and then be out like the next guy. So, I opted to do the boxing fight that weekend, and look where it's put me now. So, it's built this beautiful home. I'm marrying my beautiful fiance. It's sort of just everything happens for a reason. That's the thing, eh?
Damn. Is that what you sort of believe as well? Everything happens for a reason?
Sorry?
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, even though the knee blowout, it comes around, pays itself.
Yeah, like at the time it was so hard to realise everything happens for a reason, and, I thought, why the fuck me, and I was the biggest, bestest thing at the time, and I thought, fuck, why couldn't it happen to that guy? But, yeah, man, I'm so glad it did happen, because if it didn't, I feel like I would have been in the UFC already, and who knows, I could have been, 2-2 in the UFC or 1-3, and being, I'm 25 years old. Imagine having, for me, it didn't make sense to get to the height of my athletic career at 25 and then be thrown out and not have anything else. So I thought, I'm still climbing, and I'll dip my toe in the UFC after boxing, no doubt.
That'd be awesome. Damn, that must
Yeah.
be you make it sound like a very easy decision though to turn that short notice fight, the UFC short notice fight, turn that down. But there must have been so much going through your head if it is such a huge dream of yours or was in the past.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I've seen Damian Brown for instance. He got in on the UFC on short notice. He had to cut weight. I think at the time I heard the story because he was one of my teammates. He was eating a meat pie. He was he's a prison guard. He was eating a meat pie. He got a call. We got a fight for you in a week and a half. Can you make the weight? I think he was 82 kilos at the time. He was eating a meat pie. So yeah, make the weight. Nick killed himself to make 70 kilos. Very flat that night. Got in still. And lost, lackluster decision. But he was in and he went on to win 3 fights in the UFC. But, that alone, cutting all that weight, probably deterred me from making the call at yes, because cutting weight is fucking hard. And I'm not doing 11 kilos in 1 week, no way. But, yeah, the people around me sort of made the decision for me. But it always falls back on me. If I wanted to do it, I would have done it. But, yeah, it just wasn't. Maybe, I had this little sixth sense there saying don't do it, it'll come eventually.
How's your dad feel about you fighting as well, being a fighter himself? Is it something that he's all for and encouraging and showing you the road?
Yeah, I'll come real quick. My dad passed away in 2009.
Apologies.
So he passed away. No, it's perfectly fine. I don't like saying I don't really knew my dad. I grew up with my dad. I love my dad. I got a twin brother and an older brother. We used to go there every second weekend. Him and mum were separated, but still very amicable. But I was more of a mummy's boy. But yeah, dad had 9 professional boxing fights back in his day. Fought for a Queensland title, but I was never into it. And that was sort of the reason I crossed from boxing to a combat sport in MMA, is because I felt like I didn't have the connection with my dad that my brothers had. Growing up, my twin brother was the man. He was always going to be the boxer. He was touted as a boxer growing up. And I felt like I was, sort of missed out on this unique relationship I with dad, sort of like my brothers had. So I was like, fuck, I'll do something my dad done that my brothers haven't done. And that was combat sports, MMA. So, yeah, he never had the chance to say yes or no. So, but I bet he's, if he's up there, believe in God or not, I bet he's very proud. So, but you know, I've got a man in my life now, Blair Studley, who's my coach, who's very important to me as well. So, you know, he fell into that role, and I'm very thankful for that, man. But that doesn't take away the fact that I don't have dad anymore. But it is what it is, man. You know, it just is what it is.
It's a great philosophy. It's a great philosophy to live by. Damn, I didn't realize that. That's a tough question to ask.
Yeah, no, man, that's perfectly fine. I get asked about it all the time because some people think, you know, Blair's like my dad, you know, because we, you know, it's just is what it is, man. Don't feel bad at all. All gravy.
Yeah, you got that relationship. That's awesome. How do you go with when you're picking who's in the dressing room with you before the fight, who's in your corner? How do you go about sort of choosing the personalities?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've never been asked that question. Like always, my coach will be beside me. Blair, he's man, that guy. Me and him get along so well, and we have since I walked through his doors at Nitro. You know, we've been together for 6 years now. He's been at all my fights at bar one. He was on holidays in Mexico. But yeah, he will always be there, and it's really for me the people that get me there. You know, in that train, not so much in that training camp, but have been around me for the, you know, in the trenches and whatnot. So yeah, there's like always David Chen will always be there because he's doing all the rounds with me. The boys that are in the gym sweating, crying, bleeding, farting, whatever, they're the ones that I want around because they see all the ones that see me at my lowest, at my highest. You know, the days I'm not doing too well, they're the ones picking me up and reinforcing, you know, I'm the fucking man and I'm going to do this. I'm going to smash this bloke. So I want them guys around. And I hang out with my Nitro boys every day. They're like my best mates. I got Dimitri, Jerry, Dave, Dan Hill, and Blair Studley. They're like my 5 best mates. I want those guys around. Yeah, I've had previous times, like in my MMA days, I've had my brothers in there. It's a bit of a soft spot for my twin brother because, like I said, he was touted as the fighter and he can't bring himself to be there. Like, it's just a soft spot for him. Like, it reminds him of dad too much. So he exits the room. My older brother, he's a bit of a lunatic and he's a bit too much. So, and again, they've both said, you know, it's hard for them to watch me get ready and stuff like that. They're so nervous. Mum will never be at the back because Mum's not coming out the back. Like, and my fiance too, like she always, like I don't get when the girlfriends are in the room, you know. My fiance Jiv says it's men's business, so go do your men's business. That's me and Blair. So she'll do it. She'll come see me after. So it's about who's there with me on the come up. You know, they're the ones that are celebrating with me after, and you know, helping me get ready.
That's awesome. And what's the mood like in the dressing room?
Fun, man. That's like it's always, you know, just fun. I'm like all the hard work's done. You know, the training camp is the hardest thing. I've got fun music on, dancing music on, having a laugh. What's
your music? What's your playlist like?
I've got it on Spotify. Go check it out. It's my boot camp playlist. Is what I put on to get ready for the fight. All sorts of stuff.
What's the playlist called?
Issac Hardman. It's called Boot Camp. So it's like the playlist I play for my gym classes when I'm running classes. You know. Or, you know, upbeat stuff. It's not too gangster, not too like, I'm going to kill this guy, do this, do that. It's not rock. It's a little bit of everything. And the other one on there is with the Gorilla. That's my luck. Let's go sort of playlist. But, yeah, it's sort of fun, man. Like, the mood is very fun. Like, it's not going to, like, there's no benefit in wasting all your energy out the back, you know, sitting there getting stressed out. I'm going to fucking fight at the end of the day. So
a bit of hips don't lie. Bit of hips don't lie. Let's go. Shakira.
Yeah, there you go. Shakira.
I love it. Great playlist.
So, yeah. So there's no, like for me, I'm not wasting energy, you know, 10, 15, 20 minutes before the fight, you know, stressing out or getting super amped up and having to come down super amped up. I'm just cruising until I'm right there in that ring and I'm punching him in the head. So it's fun.
Damn, that sounds awesome. So, as a spectator who loves to be competitive in anything, whether it's I don't know, I just compete like at anything. Yeah. But like just watching on TV, like seeing the intensity or the playfulness, whatever the mood is in the room, sort of getting ready for war, is so fascinating.
Yeah. It really is because I've been in dressing rooms where it's like, you could hear a fucking pin drop, and that shit don't do it for me. Like, you know, I'm laughing. There's a guy at our gym, Jerry. We always take the mickey out of him. He loves it. He's always got a wig on and dancing, and we're always joking. So I couldn't do it when it's super serious, like at the back for me, it doesn't cut the mustard. I've been there and done that. It's uncomfortable for me to be like a part of that team out the back when this guy's sitting there and there's no one saying anything. Like I'm feeling uncomfortable and I'm not even getting in the ring, so I'm laughing, having fun. So, which is a weird thing, you're getting ready for battle and you're having a joke 5 minutes before you go and get your head punched in. It's a weird one.
Well, I guess it's a sign of preparedness, is it? I don't know.
Not worried. Yeah.
That's the other thing my fiance says too. Like, I've done the work. I'm at peace with what's happening next. It is what it is.
Yeah, damn, I like that. So Zerafa, the fight's coming up. You guys, do you hate each other?
Fuck yeah, man. I do not like that guy. Hate's a pretty strong word. I wouldn't wish him, terminal illness or anything like that, or fucking
anything barring that, you want to punch him in the face.
I wouldn't mind getting hit by a car like maybe 20, 30 kilometers an hour and him flipping the roof and breaking his leg, but
just
I
a little
wouldn't wish.
scare.
Yeah, just like take a bit of skin or something like that, or break a bone, or lay him up in hospital for a week, which I'll do. But man, I don't like the fucking guy. It's plain Bicky. I don't like him. He's a narcissist. He lacks integrity. He's just a knob, man. Like, I know big fights get built off grudges and stuff like that. Man, I've heard Denny Green, Mundine were quite friendly, and when Mundine grabbed Jeff Thorne by the throat, it was pre-planned 5 minutes before they went to the weigh-in. But man, the second I clap eyes on him, he's gonna know I don't like the see you next Tuesday. That's for sure.
So you're coming in a lot heavier. You probably will be by the time you meet in the ring. How do you reckon that will play out in the fight?
Oh, that'll be a massive factor. It'll be huge. Be a huge factor in the fight. It always is, because I do it correctly. I'm a big, strong kid, and he's a weak, feeble, middle-aged man. He's fucking. I've held burgers thicker than that bloke's midsection. Down at Z Pickle in Brisbane, that have been thicker than that guy. Double patty beef and bacon is thicker than that bloke's midsection. And I'm
just quickly, have you been to Get a Burger? They are some of the thickest burger. Oh my god! It's like a bottle of canola oil in the burger too. But anyway,
he's a skinny runt. He's a super welterweight. Let's put it that way. He should be the division below, and maybe it goes back to the whole culture of boxing. They stick closer to their fight weight. And the guy is, I bet, max 75 kilos. I'm not 75 kilos until the morning I wake up a weigh-in day. Like, I know that for a fact because his last fight, the guy he fought purely, someone couldn't pay me 30 grand to go cut weight and fight that guy. There's no way I'm doing all that, slugging myself through a weight cut just to fight a fucking canned kick over. Not happening. So I know for a fact he doesn't cut weight to make weight. He probably, misses dinner the night before and does a little sauna session the morning of. Not happening. He's going to feel every bit of this 84-kilo fucking hombre the next day.
I love that.
I'm scared for him.
Yeah. He's had a few big fights. He's, I guess, seen the big stage. So I guess that could help him. How do you feel about that?
This question always gets thrown at me, and it's not your guys' fault. It annoys me because he's been on that big stage, but he's been on that big stage at no loss. Like, he gets called to fight Kell Brook, win-win. Kell Brook in his backyard, he goes to 10, 12 rounds, I think it was. Yeah, he was coming home strong. But Kell Brook's a welterweight. Let's put that in perspective. He's a 66-kilo fighter. He's a welterweight. He was an old welterweight at that, and he was getting pushed around by a welterweight. There's no fucking way I'd be getting pushed around by a welterweight. Not happening. And he got beaten. And then you look at that fight. Kell Brook's next fight was against Terence Crawford. Yes, Terence Crawford is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford spanked that bloke in 3 rounds, knocked him down with a jab. So that sort of shows you where Zerafa's at, right? Peter Quinlan, big. I think he was a middleweight at that time. I dived. I don't really know much about Peter Quinlan because, to be honest, I wasn't much of a boxing fan 3 years ago, so I didn't know him. His time was been and gone since I've gotten into it. But I dived into his record. He doesn't have A-class boxers on his record, and when he has half a name on his record, Peter Quinlan lost. So again, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I don't know much about Quinlan. But he lost him, got chinned badly. Who else did he lose to? Someone Russian, I think. I don't actually know that guy. And then Jeff Horn, he's got 4 losses on his record. Jeff Horn was, again, a super welterweight. I think he won his world title against Pacquiao. So he's getting beaten by little guys. Imagine when he gets in with a big 72 kilo, someone that's hungry. Jeff Horn was been and done. He won all his money against Pacquiao. Kell Brook had won his world titles against all the good guys. Peter Quinlan, I don't know much about, and the other guy I don't know much about, so I won't speak on it. But these guys that had their turn, maybe their hunger wasn't as hungry as I am, and they still beat this guy. So imagine what I'm going to fucking dismantle it.
To play devil's advocate, though, he did also beat Horn.
He did, and I will give it. But let's put that in perspective too. Like, I was in Horn's camp for that fight. That wasn't the Horn that fought Pacquiao. It was a lazy Horn. It was a rubbish Jeff Horn. He knows that, but he did win. And I'm not ignorant to his skills. He does have skills, and that's one thing I can happily say. He's a good fighter. He's like a B-level fighter. He ain't no A-class world beater. He's not the fighter he portrays himself to be. He's a B-class fighter, and he'd be a B-plus fighter. I just don't think he's as special as he makes himself out to be, and he's pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes in the regard that he's gone and fought Kell Brook. Yeah, I've been in with the best guys in the world. Yeah, you have, but you fucking lost, If I was in the Olympics running the 100-metre sprint, I wouldn't be telling people I come fourth, I'm only telling people if I'm winning the gold medal. So, I'm not ever telling. I got choked out by Jamie Malaki. Tell people I done that. I fought a guy that's in the UFC now, and he's on a 3-4 fight winning streak. I fought that guy. I got choked unconscious, so I'm not telling anyone about that. So, it is what it is. Again.
Yeah. So what's your prediction for the fight then? Will it go the distance?
I actually don't know. Like, I would like for it to go for 9 rounds and 59 seconds, and then squash last second of the fight, because I want to punish him for as long as possible. I would almost get off the Steve wilting, in front of me and wanted to find a way out there. I'd get off the gas for 2 rounds just so I can hurt him a little bit more. But I feel I honestly feel like a ring is only so big, and he's saying he's gonna use his boxing IQ. He's gonna dance around me and jab me, and so E-Man did that as well for 2 rounds, and I caught up to him. I've got 30 minutes to catch that guy and put a fucking right hand on his chin. He's got to be perfect, like Deontay Wilder says. These people have got to be perfect for the whole time. I've only got to be perfect for 1 second. So that's all it takes. And it's all over for Michael Zerafa, and he packs his bag up because he got beaten by a fat drunk, if you ask him.
So then, would you reckon you could retire him?
Zerafa?
Yeah.
For sure, 100%. Like, the meaningful fights for Zerafa are no longer after me. And he knows that. 100% he knows that. This is a do-or-die fight for him. Because when he loses to me, he's bound to fight on Sam Laguna Fight Night at Melbourne Pavilion in front of 300 people against Fijian taxi drivers. Maybe he might. That's what it is for Michael Zerafa. He made such a point of saying, I'm no boxer, I'm this MMA fighter. He's going to school me, teach me a boxing lesson. When I teach him the boxing lesson, he's better off saying I'm this awesome up-and-comer. I'm improving with every fight, and it's going to be a great battle. Because then when he does lose, he lost to a guy that's, coming through, not just this dud, fat MMA fighter that he portrays me to be. So, yeah, he's done. The meaningful fights are done after I finish Michael Zerafa. Maybe I think a cool fight would be for him to fight Camilleri after I beat him. That's a cool. Take it to the Melbourne Pavilion, friends and family, and the kebab shops or whatever. 400 people. But the meaningful fights are fucking long gone after I school him.
So what do you want next? Are you looking
Me?
at Tim Tszyu? Or
no, man.
you were saying you want to go overseas.
He's on his own. He's a super welterweight too. He ain't moving until he wins that world I know that. He knows that. He's done all this hard work to get a mandatory at super welterweight. He ain't bumping up to middleweight, not until he wins his world title. Maybe that fight might happen in 5 years after we both won our world titles, bring this mega fight back. We could be the big stars because we're so close to weight. Big fight like a Mundine, Danny Green thing back in Australia. That would be cool. But he's not coming up until he does his thing at the super welterweight. And I really fully believe he will be a world champion, bring another world title back to Australia for us. He's doing his own thing. I'm doing my own thing. Maybe we'll meet. I'm very friendly with Tim Tszyu, and Glenn Jennings. They'll be in camp soon. They've tried to source me up for a sparring partner. It's always great rounds, and he's asking me because they're the best rounds he can get. And vice versa, they're the best rounds I can get, man. So I'm for sure going to be there for him. But I'm rooting for Tim Tszyu to win the world title, and maybe we can address, a massive big payday at the end of our careers, in 5 years. But for me, after this fight, there's guys like Chris Eubank, Hammy Myunga, all these guys in front of me. Because credit where it's due, Michael Zerafa's at number 10 on BoxRec. Overall, there's sanctioning bodies. There's the 4 main sanctioning bodies: WBA, WBC, WBO and the IBF. He's in 2 of them now, only now, because I'm in the IBF. He was only just in the WBA, but I'm with the IBF and WBO, number 8 and number 10. There's, like I was saying, credit to him. He's number 10 all over, the box rack, 1 to 10, the best boxers. He's at number 10, so good on him. But when I beat him, I'm straight there. I take his spot. So there's 9 guys in front of me that are, world level boxers. I will fight any single one of them at the drop of a hat. So whether that be Devinchenko, Hammy Myunga, Eubank, Liam Williams, whoever, I'm fighting those guys, and that's what I want. I'm not going to be hanging around to fucking fight the Camilleries and Michael Zerafas and these guys here in Australia. No way. I want to win my title. I'll do that at the end as an exhibition or something.
Damn, that'd be cool. So is there a destination you'd be wanting to fight at?
And
Kambosos wants to bring it back to Melbourne, his title fight. Is there a place that you want to bring everyone to?
Oh, Caboolture at the equestrian, the horse. That'd be sick, build a stadium up over Caboolture train station, and there's the Irish across the road. Fuck, that'll be sick. But like Brisbane Entertainment Centre is like 5 minutes away from where I live. That's cool, When I do all this world title and win my world title, I need to tick the box off the Madison Square Garden in New York, Vegas. I need to do all that, and then I'll bring it back. Brisbane. I love Brisbane. It's where I'll live for the rest of my life until I retire, which I'll go piss off in a little cabin up in the mountains somewhere with no power. But until then, Brisbane's home. Man, Suncorp Stadium would be fucking sick. Let's redo the Pacquiao. Hardman v whoever it be. So, Brisbane is where I would love to bring a massive fight.
That'd be awesome to see. You seem to, just what you were saying before with characters and how Zerafa's selling the fight, you seem to understand the promotion aspect of what narrative fits which position. And is that something you think about before promoting a fight and how you want to portray yourself?
No, I am who I am. Like, I'm this guy. Like, a spade is a spade to me. So if you're a fuckwit, I'll call you one, And that's just like how I am portrayed over Instagram and Facebook. Yes, there's a little bit of brashness and cockiness on the Instagram. I'm very confident in the way I carry myself. But I don't, like, I'm not a different guy when the camera's off. No way. I promise you that. But yeah, no, some people, I've heard from multiple sources. For instance, Michael Zerafa's a nice guy. He's done his dash with me. I don't give a fuck if he's the nicest guy in the world. I'm still going to smash the guy, and I'll probably smash him the second I lay eyes on him. But apparently he's a nice guy. But he's embraced this bad boy sort of figure to sell a fight. I don't know. Same with Mundine. Mundine was fast talking, trash talking. He said a lot of controversial things, but I never met him personally, but I've spoken to him a couple of times on Instagram and through other people, and they say he's a fantastic guy, very, very humble, genuine guy. But he knew the way of the business, and he made a lot of money doing what he did. But I'm who I am through and through. I'm not trying to be someone else for an Instagram post or anything like that, I promise you.
Yeah, but I guess like Floyd Mayweather sort of understands his Now, I don't know what he's also like personally, but he understands that he has to be the bad guy in the fights and that people will want to watch him lose. And that hasn't happened. But,
Yeah, unfortunately.
yeah, I mean, respect to him. But even like Jake Paul, I don't know what your thoughts are on him, but he also understands the narrative and what sells a good story.
Yeah, for sure. It is a hard one. You know, if I wasn't who I was, I would probably, try and be a little bit nicer, I don't know, and sell the good guy thing, but it just doesn't do it for me, eh? Like, I'm not here selling narratives. Good on them and the people that understand that. It's just, luckily, the way I am sells a fight, genuinely. So, I don't have to, duck and dive to be something else. I'm who I am. And I think people relate to that and they can see through the bullshit, I'm not, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So what's it like after a fight? You win a fight. What's the mood? What do you do?
Tired as fuck, man. Like you can't ever sleep. Like she's so wide, but
do you go out? Do you drink, party, anything like that? No, you're dialed in.
I'm portrayed as an alcoholic, fat drunk, but I probably drink 3 times a year. Like my last fight, Adam Stowe, was the first time I went out after, only because I had to meet. I just brought on a manager, Eddie Cockwell from AusMV. He's a great man. He will be friggin' running this country one day. But he had set up all my sponsors for that fight, this guy, that guy, and he had set up, a cool place, Cloudland in Brisbane. He's like, mate, the show is not over yet. You're still working. You're still on the clock. Because right now you're cool. After the fight, people want to hang out with you. These are the guys that'll, put money in your pocket for your next fight, and they'll jump on board and want to be a sponsor. So we got to go out and talk to these guys. I went out to Cloudland with my coach, and he's not a big drinker anyway. I was sort of watching him walk through the valley in Brisbane. This is, in December, so it's fucking cooking. And he almost wanted to punch every bloke he walked past.
the valley is dangerous at night.
Yeah, it's just not our scene. It sort of rubs me the wrong way. I would have, honestly, I tried to convince my fiance to come with me, but she got to the line and she's like, I'm going home to cuddle with the dogs. I got 2 spoodles. I would have much rather do that. But I understand these guys are sponsors of mine, so I've got to go out, interact. And, man, to be honest, I had a great sort of hour and a half while it lasted. It was fun, man. So, but I'm not a big going out to town. I will do always a blowout like the weekend after my fight, but that's always Dave's house or Jerry's house. Last time we did a silent disco at his house in the complex, and we just fucking boogied on silent disco.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was sick. Big on I was back in the day, but I'm 25, 26 now, going on 26. So I'd rather cuddle with my spoodles.
Love that. So you can't sleep after a fight because you're fucking exhausted, you're wired, maybe a little bit sore.
Yep.
What do you do?
Man, what I do is I clear my social media because far out, and the more
the tags,
the more like all the tags, and like I'm a sucker for like opening one and like saying thanks, mate. But like it used to be okay back in like my 0 to 9 fights in MMA. I'd probably have 30 inboxes, but now it's like thank fuck my old Instagram at 13,000 got disabled, so I no longer have that. So right now it's building back up. But after a fight, man, there's fucking thousands of them, and I'm a sucker for opening them up and like replying to the guys. Thanks for the support, I appreciate it. And now it's come to a point where, man, if there's a message request, I'll just delete because I can't do it, and it makes me feel like an asshole because these guys are invested in me. So I sort of try and clear all the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter now. Thank fuck I don't have Snapchat anymore because that would be popping off. But yeah, I try and clear that. It takes 4 hours to do. Text messages, the phone blows up. Always make the call to like my mum or my brothers. I just lay there in the lounge room while the missus sleeps because she's exhausted and she can sleep easy after. But yeah, I'm clearing my social media so I don't have to look at it.
Damn, that's like the untold story. Because those things, there's always...
There's always like... maybe like a tagged video of a different angle of the fight. And I'm like, fuck, that's cool. I'll watch that. Or like a photo that the photographers didn't take. It's like, fuck, that's a cool photo from like down through the ropes. They're always cool. You find some little gems in them ones. So that's why I like always try and make it a thing of like getting to every notification, which it'll come a time where I don't have to handle my own social media. It should be now because I'm getting disabled and banned on Facebook and Instagram because I do it myself. But there'll come a time where like I won't have to, and that'll be a sad time because, you know, I like interacting with these people that are invested in my career, and it's cool. And, you know, the boys back in Caboolture too always send me a message, and yeah, it's, you know, yeah, it's cool. But that's what I do after the fights, clear the social media.
Yeah, and I guess that small interaction, whether it's just a double tap or liked message, has an infinitely or exponentially larger impact on that person too.
Like, I always try and think about it on, like, you know, wearing the other, what's that saying? If the shoe was on the other foot or whatever. Yeah, like, oh man, fucking Issac Hardman replied to me. Or, you know, when I was a kid, you know, I was messaging like Dan Hooker. He replied to me once. You know, I'm like, holy fuck, Dan, when I was doing it, Dan Hooker. I said, man, Dan Hooker replied. Israel Adesanya actually shared a message like on his story of me when I said when I was coming up. This is when I was injured. I said, man, I sort of hoped you had lost, but that was like my arrogance and ignorance inside, you know, because he was the hot thing coming up and I wanted everything he was getting. And I said that to him in a clear message. He's like, man, that is one of the most honest messages I've ever got. Don't let the jealousy curse. And he reshared it, and he's like, man. And I said at the end, man, I'm a fan of you. I'm riding your bandwagon the whole way. Let's go. And he had shared that on his 13 million friggin' followers. I'm like, fuck, Israel Adesanya fucking responded to me. So that was cool. So I always try and make an effort to try and get back to these people because you never know. It could turn, you know, someone could be about to fucking, you know, and that could turn them around, you know?
Exactly, yeah. It's always cool being able to have that effect on someone. But you've got some really awesome images on your Instagram. Like, who's doing the artwork there?
That's me. Yeah.
That's you.
That's me. That's all me. Sorry. Like, the cartoon ones. That's just an app I found. That's fucking awesome. Like, they're like proper Mickey Mouse ones. Like the photographer shot ones. The guy Jesse Williams, the monster. He played and won 2 NFLs over in America.
He's Critter's mate. Critter went to school with him and did powerlifting together.
Yeah.
Aboriginal Torres Strait fella. He's one of my manager's best mates, works for OzMB and Boss Capital. He does all the photographers. That guy's a man mountain. He runs a 40-yard dash in 3.8 seconds or something like that. But he takes photos, so it's pretty fucking good to have someone that's been on that world stage. He's won 2 NFL rings. Playoffs. Yeah, 2 rings. I've seen him, you know, and he's in there taking photos of me. It's pretty freaking cool, man. So that's the guy behind the lens with those really nice photos.
Because he's gone real creative now, hey?
Morgan Baker as well. Morgan Baker is another bloke who takes some photos as well. He works with the boys as well. He's a fucking wizard on the camera as well. So shout out to him as well.
Yeah. Do you have a videographer or anyone sort of follow you around? I mean, if there's a TV network doing the fight, they've probably got their own crew. But do you have anyone sort of covering the before fight? Any photographers there of your own?
Yeah. There's a channel here in Brisbane before the fight. They cover a lot of the Australian boxing. I've hit them up about that because I would love to have that happen. You know, like the countdown on the UFC where they go home, check the house, and then they go to train and see me mow my lawn and stuff like that. That would be cool. So maybe we'll do something for this fight coming up. But that's something I've spoken to my manager Eddie about, and Jesse is more than capable of doing something like that, like a little vlog series, mini doco series, in the lead up to the fight. You know, lead up to Zerafa Hardman fight. But not just yet. But that's something I definitely want to dip my toe in. I've even been checking out some YouTube channels. That's something I might want to go down. You know, the YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. See me, I'm whipping up storms in the kitchen now at the moment. I've got fucking awesome grass, so you know you can learn a lot of shit from me.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean that'd be like I'll be fucking very interested in learning and watching that. So
yeah, see, like the man behind the glove, you know, that's what people like to see, and that's what I'm interested in too. Sometimes the fight today was a bit of a stinker, but I love watching the countdown. You know, Nagano training and driving home and seeing his wife and his kids, or why he's doing it. That's the cool shit that gets people ticking.
And also just like, what do you do with your life? Like boxing's a percentage of it, but like no, but it's just like it's interesting watching people. I think just people watching is very entertaining.
Very interesting. I'm a simple man, you know. I like cooking food and mowing my lawn and playing with my dogs. That's really about it.
Have you
And
got
my
into
beautiful-
Have you got into any grilling? What's your cooking
Any what?
method? Grilling.
Reeling?
Grilling?
Nah. Done it like on Instagram?
No, grills. Like cooking grill.
Oh, yeah. I just got myself a fucking brand new Traveller Webbecue. I whipped it out today for the second time. It's Mickey Mouse, mate. It'll blow your hair back, that's for sure.
Damn, that was good. Because when we did that grill for the UFC, that was ages ago. That was McGregor and
Yeah, that was months. I can't even remember the fight.
Damn, yeah. That was like a year ago, actually.
Watch with the head splitter while I grill up some freaking barbecue chops and, you know, make it a thing.
Yeah, no, that'd be good because I'm keen. I'm keen to watch.
Yeah.
So,
That's the next venture.
Yeah. Any announcements you want to make? Any shout outs, credits to give?
Man, just like my sponsors, Eddie. Oh, first of all, bless Dudley. He's the man behind everything. He's one of the most important people in my life. Has been for the last, I'd say, I've known him for 6 years, but it's really hit home that he's the one that's kind of given me there in the last 4 or 5 years, sort of a thing. Javille Latu, my fiance, soon to be Javille Latu Hardman. My mum, my brothers, Eddie Cockler, my manager. He's been a very important part of this team now. He's only been on board the last 2 fights, but he's made life very easy for me and my coach. He's a breath of fresh air. But, you know, my sponsors, you know, the ones even the way back when, you know, for instance, Roadie Meats Butcher down near my local butcher, you know, they supported me back when ages ago. And, you know, I'm still very thankful for these guys. Anyone that's ever played a part in my journey, I'm very thankful for, and I'll never forget. You know, all the way back to my MMA days, Adrian, you know, he helped mold who I am today. So I'm thankful for that guy as well. So it's a big team, but I'm very thankful for the people in it and around me now. So not that these people are always going to be a part of the journey. That's just the way it goes. You can't bring everyone with you. But, yeah, you know, I'm very thankful for the team I have now and moving forward.
That's awesome. And it's Hardman Boxer on Instagram. Is that right?
With an A. Used to be with an R, but now it's with an A. That one got disabled because people are too sensitive these days. But Hardman Boxer with an A.
Perfect.
That's
So
when
if anyone wants to follow, are there any other social platforms that people can follow, interact?
Is like my Issac Hardman is my athlete page. I've done a big cull on my personal page, so don't try and add me. If I don't know you, I haven't spoken to you the last 10 days, it's not going to happen. Twitter, I'm on Twitter now as well. I've had it for ages, but I'm just starting to get my head around it. That's Issac Hardman as well, so get around that. But Instagram's where it's at these days, or OnlyFans, but I don't have one of them, so where it's at.
Damn, everyone's got an OnlyFans now.
Yeah, ain't too. That ain't
insane.
Fucking. There's no way.
I said to Dino.
If it's me, OnlyFans is going to be blokes subscribing to me. No guys are up to my OnlyFans. It's creepy old dudes. That's what.
But you could do an OnlyFans where it's just a inside sneak peek to your boxing and your training.
Yeah, and release iron footy, something like that. That's a good one. That could be a money maker.
Yeah, just like I mean, you guess you could be careful with what you're releasing, but there could be like cool bits to release, like behind the scenes footage to some people.
I know Israel Adesanya does that. He's released like, you know, check Dan Hooker dropping me, subscribe to my OnlyFans. People get around that. They pay him for that shit too. So you never know. I could do a caption of David Chan drop Issac Hardman and subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Well, it's like the question I posed to you last week. Would you do a OnlyFans for $100K a month?
Fuck yeah, I would. It depends on
Everything's visible.
100K a month.
100K a month.
I want a 10-year contract for 100K a month, and anything's on the fucking table.
You wouldn't do an 8-year contract.
A month.
Not doing an 8-year contract?
Nah, no way. It's got to be long. Longevity.
That's fair. Oh, well, it's been unreal to chat to you, and I can't wait to see your fight in April, whenever that may be. Hardman Zerafa, probably April, maybe March, hopefully not May.
Yeah. I'd be fucking fighting the fiance if that's happening. I wouldn't actually have one.
Yeah.
Well, that would clear up the schedule, but you don't want that.
Right?
Yeah. All right. Isaac, it's been an unreal chat to you. Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Good
Thank
luck.
you for having
Thank you.
me. Thank you.